Can't get a hold.
What do I get for it?
Yeah, I'll buy your pajamas at Victoria's Secret. Give me a kiss, I'll leave.
How much are the pajamas gonna cost?
The fuck do I know? What are they, $10, $20?
No, Vinny.
How much?
These were 57.
How much?
57 was the...
$57?
Yeah, for
Sleep
these ones.
naked. Give me a kiss,
No
I'll
kisses.
buy you something.
What are you gonna buy me?
Give me a kiss first, I'll tell you.
Tell me first what you're gonna buy
Give
me.
me a kiss.
No, tell me what you're gonna
Just
buy
give me a
me.
little kiss, I'll tell you. Oh, yeah.
What are you gonna buy me?
A muzzle.
Oh, fuck you.
After I got kicked out of Our Lady of Pompeii, I went to PS3 on Bedford Street in Grove. I got kicked out of there. Then I went to PS41 on 6th Avenue and West 10th Street.
My name is Vinny Vella Sr., and I was born and raised in New York City.
Got kicked out of there.
You talking to me? I could have been a contender.
Then I went to St. Anthony's on Houston and Sullivan. Got kicked out of there too.
How many times do I gotta tell you? I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
Cock it back. Take it like this. For the manual.
Vinny Vella. That's my darling son-in-law. I feel sorry for my daughter. We thought he was good when we met him, but then we found out the marbles were a little bit loose. That his elevator didn't go all the way up.
Going in one. What? You need help now? What, you got here late and you need help?
Hold that.
Hold this. This is Welcome Aboard, once again live. Ooh, scary, 3D wires. Ooh, coming at you. Yes, we are live again once. Better fix my pants. Showed a low budget. Mr. Vinny Vella is my special guest today. Vinny, thanks for coming down.
My pleasure.
These guys decided to... You walk in at the last minute. Live television, totally
An hour
screwed
and a
me.
half to get down here, my friend.
I don't know, they're going to have to give you a sound check, but you're going to have to wait right now because I want to talk to Vinny.
Okay.
Everybody come wait for these shows.
He's like, you know, Ralph plays in a wedding band. That's where we met, right?
No,
at the wedding.
It was. We did his niece's
Right.
wedding.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? The singer in the band, the same thing all the time. Shows up at the last minute. We're going to start calling him Cookie Mercante. The singer does the same thing when they're going to play. 5 minutes before. Did you ever do that? If you did that on a movie, what would they do to you? 5 minutes before you're supposed to go on a shot.
Well,
They tell you...
get hell.
At least.
Get hell. Get hell.
In case you don't recognize Vinny, which means that you don't really see too much television or movies, Mr. Vella's been in Casino. He's been in various episodes of TV shows, Spencer for Hire and
Ghost Dog.
Ghost Dog and all kinds of stuff. He's now seen regularly on New York Central.
New York Central. I'm a commentator for the show.
Commentator on New York Central. So if you have that on Cablevision, I know it's on Channel 16. I don't know what channel it's on Time Warner.
70.
70? Is that the same thing in Brooklyn also? Do we know? I don't know. Somebody's got Time Warner in
And
Brooklyn.
ESPN.
And plus numerous ESPN commercials you've seen Vinny in. But we were talking before we got on camera how you got your start in acting in that. And it was, you said you used to work behind the camera.
Yeah, I used to have campers, Winnebaggers.
Oh, you used to supply, I got you, yeah.
I used to supply the Winnebaggers to the fashion industry. That's how we started.
Uh-huh.
And then music videos, movies, commercials. So I was always behind the camera.
Right.
And I would always observe, you know, everything that was going on. And they need a keyboard feed. You know, watching these people all the time.
Right.
I used to say to myself many times, I know I could do that.
Uh-huh.
You know, I belong over there, they belong over here. Because I know I could do a better job.
Uh-huh.
Or if not, just as good.
Right. Now, you were also saying that you did take a little bit of acting classes, but for the most part, you kind of feel just...
I didn't take them until after Casino.
Until after Casino.
Right.
Right. And it was like, at that point, you felt, well, it might help you a little bit?
I think it might help me, yeah, because I was starting to capitalize off of the movie Casino.
Right.
As it came out, you know, I started networking off of that. And then I figured maybe it would help, you know, if I took some acting lessons. And a lot of people find it very good, and I'm sure it's, you know, acting classes are very helpful.
Right.
I just happened to find it a little boring.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't understand it very well, and I just...
So you just kind
I
of like...
wasn't in it for very long.
Right, so you just kind of like do the natural thing.
Yeah.
So when people go to see you, it's basically you.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, it's more natural. It's not any of this sense memory thing of... Or any of
No,
that.
you know, if you could learn to turn people on and off, and like if there's 20 people behind the camera, 50 people behind the camera, and there's one person that you're talking to and you have to get into what you're doing, if you could do that without being self-conscious that there are you know, people watching you, if you know, if you could do it, then you're all right. But then there's a lot of people that think that, you know, well, hey, if I could memorize and if I know how to read, if I know how to memorize, then they get in front of the camera and they're like vegetables. You know, they're like, you know.
It's like they're just...
And they're kind of like dead in front of a camera.
It's like reading a newspaper. George, I would appreciate it very much, your communication.
Exactly, exactly. So, and then again, I'm not shy, so I find what I do pretty easy.
That's funny you mention that, because to me, I find it funny that, you know, you hear about, you know, a lot of big stars. I mean, Barbra Streisand especially is like one of these that sits there and says, oh, you know, I'm this big star and I get $20,000 for a front row seat, but I'm so afraid to go on stage to sing. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know, it just doesn't balance for me. That, I mean, if you're that afraid, there must be that big drive inside you that says, no matter what the fear is, I'm getting very rich from this, so I can't be that afraid of
You
it.
said 20,000?
Well, you know,
Okay.
whatever the going rate is to sit in
Well,
a
listen,
spitting
if I had a
distance.
voice and you offered me 20,000, I wouldn't be too shy.
Yeah, right?
No, not
That's
at
what I'm
all.
saying. Exactly.
I'm not the shy type.
You don't come across that way. But now, you lived in Manhattan all your life?
Yeah.
Same area?
Well, I was born on Bleecker Street between 6th and 7th Avenue, which at that time was considered Greenwich Village, which it still is.
Right.
And then from there, I've lived around Manhattan. And but I live right now in Little Italy.
Right.
So as a kid, being that my father had a business in Little Italy, he had a fish market. As a kid, I used to go from the west side to the lower east side to my father's
Fish place.
area,
Right.
where he had the fish market, and I hung out there. And I would hang out in both neighborhoods, so nobody knew where the hell I was from. When I used to go to the lower east side, the kids used to tell me, go back to the west side. When I was on the west side, the kids used to tell me, go back to the east side. So it was like a little confusing to
Right.
everybody. So so when people say, where are you from?
You're from New York City?
I'm
Well, I just
from
look
the-
Manhattan.
I'm from Manhattan.
Yeah, that's basically where you
and
grew
I'm
up and you
basically
lived
from
there.
those two neighborhoods.
Uh-huh.
You know?
And now, this is a question that my girlfriend kind of wanted me to ask, because she's been in acting, and you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people. I know you've been, Casino was with De Niro. Have you ever worked with him? Because I know in a movie, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
you're in the same movie,
Okay,
but you don't
yeah,
shoot on the same days and that kind of thing.
Okay, we were in the same movie together, but I didn't have any scenes with De Niro.
Right.
The only time that I've worked with De Niro is when they shot him for the cover of George magazine.
Okay.
And that was the second issue of George magazine, where
Right.
they dressed him up as George Washington.
Yeah.
And he called for a few guys to be around him at that time at the table.
Right.
And fortunately enough, he called for me. You know, I was one of the guys, and 3 other people.
Right.
And I mean, I've worked around him at other times, but not with him.
Right. Right.
And
That's what I was basically explaining to her, is that, you know, a lot of times when you see a movie and there's different people, if they're not in the same scenes, that doesn't mean that they work together.
Right.
You
They
know?
might not even
Yeah.
see that same person.
Exactly.
And but I mean,
Exactly.
I've been around him quite a bit, and then I also was around him for almost a month when he shot the movie Analyze This. Because my son played his son in the movie. So we were all down in Sheridan Bell Harbor, down in Miami Beach.
Oh, great. We got to take a short break, and when we come back from that, we're going to talk to Vinny about his stint on New York Central. He had a little spot on last week that he went to see a hypnotist about, I guess it was losing weight, and there's a couple of funny things that happened with that, but we're going to, how much time we got before the break? We're right about there?
4.
All right, we're going to take this short break, so these guys are going to play. Stick around, we'll be right back.
How long is the short break?
I'm hot? That's actually pretty cool in here. It's not hot. They got the AC up. Anyway, as I was saying before we took that break, Vinny's been on Metro now, the Metro Channel, New York Central is the
New
show.
York Central, yeah.
And how long you been on there?
About 4 months.
About 4 months?
Yeah.
And how often do you come on? Once every 2 weeks?
No,
Something
I
like that?
come
Once a
on
week?
at least once, twice a week.
Once or twice a week?
Yeah, I do a couple of segments a week.
Okay. And then the last segment you had, like we said, was a hypnotist segment. That
yeah. They brought me to a
They brought you
hypnotist.
to a hypnotist to try to get hypnotized so you could lose weight. And one of our viewers seems to have gotten in touch with my production staff, and he saw it and felt that he could do a better job than the hypnotist that they hired on, that you brought you down to on New York Central. So if we could bring out Dr. Artie Schmolzenberg, do we have some introduction for him here?
Hello, Mike.
How are you, Doc?
Hello, Mr. Vella. Wonderful music.
Think you could have shaved before you came down?
That's not the problem here, you see. The problem is, you know, helping Mr. Vella out with the weight problem. And I was watching the New York Central, and I figured, you know,
You got something in there?
since the hypnotherapist could not do
What is that,
nothing
acid?
for you.
What are you
Look at Vinny's face. He's looking at it like,
Well,
what is this?
these, no, first of all, I like to explain this, what we want to do before I hypnotize you is to arrange these dots on yourself here. Now, what this is for, Mr. Vella, is...
We have these problems with this show. You got to realize, public
Yeah,
access,
no,
you never know who's going to walk in.
when you think about eating, you look at these dots, and these dots will, I'll make a suggestion for you that when you look at these dots, it'll change your perspective on food. So anytime you have trouble, and of course if you're looking in the mirror, this is, we can do this. And so what we can do is say, if this is okay,
Coca-Cola.
That's it.
repeat after me, okay? We're going to start out with that, okay?
Yeah.
I
You
am,
finished with your dots?
Are you sure he's a doctor? Where do
we
get?
can,
You sure he's a doctor?
let me see, we'll put one here, and I think I got one left here, okay? So we'll put that probably here, okay? All right, so that's in case you look in a mirror and you say, I want to go to the fridge, okay? And this will, if you look at the dot, you will say to myself, no, you know, the suggestion is I am not hungry at this particular time.
So get it.
I want to go to the fridge, and I'm going to say I'm not hungry?
That's
So
right.
why am I going to the fridge?
Well, if you're thinking about going to the fridge,
Oh.
is that okay? And then you look at the dots, and the dots will say to you the suggestion, not, I don't want nothing to eat. at this particular time. Can you follow that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's get started, and we're gonna go into first of all.
I'm sorry. You're
Yes.
the one that called in?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I did see your show. I think I can do much better. I have a practice on Fifth Avenue, and I think I can do much better than that therapist you've seen.
Doc, well,
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I know when you're done with Vinny,
Yes.
we got another patient over here on camera 4. You could probably help him a little bit. Marlon could use a little help too. He's lost.
You know, he helped me lose about 400 pounds.
But he lost the dots, I think. That's
Was
one
the
of the
dot therapy
problems.
successful
Yes.
for him?
There
Yes,
was a, what do they call those chocolates with the...
Oh, you guys
Peanut
serious?
juice.
This is like the guy that called in. This guy lost 400 pounds?
Yeah.
You don't
There's
recognize
the
him?
testimony-
Marlon Brando, he walked in here
testimony
before.
right there.
Look how much weight he
Vinny's
lost.
done
He
movies
lost
with
Tahiti.
Vinny. You've done movies with Marlon.
Didn't
You
you do
don't
anything with
recognize
Marlon?
him.
I know, he looks like a star. Tell me about these dots that are on my forehead.
Sure.
and on my
So get
mouth.
straightened out with the dots now.
All right. Well, let's start
And
out.
make it quickly.
Is when you look at these dots, you're going to talk to yourself and say, Mr. Vella or Vinny, I am not a feed bag. Okay. So let's repeat that. You look at a dot. Let's look at one of the dots and say, I am not a feed bag.
I'm not a feedback.
Okay, that's good. All right, so you know, it's very exciting to see the transformation, Mike, of the patient once we bring him under. So what we're going to do is start out, and if you could, if you want to close your eyes or leave your eyes open, one or the other, and start counting down from 100.
100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94,
Okay.
93,
You're getting
92.
sleepy now. You're
91.
you're feeling heavy. You're feeling
90.
very heavy.
So it's heavy, all right.
Yeah.
80,
80. Okay.
79,
Right.
78,
Okay. Are you
76. You going down with the numbers with me?
right?
All right.
67.
67, right.
66.
65.
Okay.
Tom, you never trust a doctor with a Coca-Cola
I
shit.
don't know.
All right.
I think Vinny's
Are
gonna
you
use his
feel
hand on his head
that
soon.
that you are under? You're under. You're feeling zoned out. Do you know where you're at right now, Mr. Vella?
Yeah.
Oh, where are you?
I'm sitting next to you with these dots on in the studio.
Okay. All right, that's good. That means, but you feel like you have been.
This guy for real? Or?
You.
I gotta trust I get
Vinny,
people
all you have
over
to
me.
do is call the exterminators. We come over, we take care of them. Don't worry about it.
This is for real. I have a
We can get rid of him
practice.
if you want.
We get rid of
I
them. 1,
shall
2, 3.
hypnotize him.
Fifth Avenue.
He's been
Yes.
practicing, can't you tell?
To-
He still hasn't
to,
gotten it right. That's why he's got to keep practicing.
Dispose of the obvious obsession with food. So I think Vinny, if I may call you Vinny, I think you're under the hypnosis as we speak. Is that true?
I'm under hypnosis right
Yes,
now.
yes. Okay. Well, there you
Without
go.
a doubt.
Well, there you go.
Very good.
Okay. I would
Oh,
like.
you can hypnotize
I would.
Didn't I?
I
Told you
can
hypnotize
hypnotize him too.
I would like. I would like to ask you a few questions,
Well, I guess.
if we could. What was it about the
Better wake 'em
Ultra
up.
Supreme Pizza with extra mozzarella cheese?
Mozzarella cheese.
Yes.
What was the what now?
What was it about the Ultra Supreme Pizza with extra mozzarella cheese?
Well, I guess we're going to have to wait for that deep question until we get back from a break. We're over here.
All right, we'll
So-
keep them under until we come
We'll
back.
keep him under until we get back,
So,
I guess, Mr.
Just-
Take it for that. It's like two nipples. On your chin. On your jaw. Don't worry about it.
under. He's feeling very calm. We're working our stuff here.
Well, now that I got dots in me, I think that the extremity is going to have to remove
I think the
him,
dots have been working their way around you.
So Vinny can finish
going
his
on here?
conversation.
You're connected. You're wired up there, Ralph. You better be unwired.
Vinny gave me the cue.
Do you-
The exterminator's got to remove the dots.
Do you believe that the food is just another word for carry-out deli?
Vinny?
Yeah, but wait, hold on. I just want to know one thing. You sure your office isn't on 1st Avenue and 29th Street?
Where's that?
It's Bellevue Hospital.
What? I'm trying to do my business here. This is, I'm trying to help I'm trying to get Mr. Vella help here. What?
Ridiculous with these guys. All right. This trouble I got to put up with here. Watch your head there. The crap I got to put up with. This guy's walking in off the street. Get him out of here! Get him out of here!
Hot dog.
Get him out of here! Make sure he stays, will you?
What's going on here, gentlemen? This is a little out of the...
See you later, Fricko.
Fricko. Unbelievable crap we got to put up with, huh?
Yeah. You got anybody else that called in?
No, thank God. Nobody else. Frickin' quack, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. I thought it was for real when he first came in.
So did I, but that's what I get with my production staff. You know, week after week, there's always some kind of screwball that winds up showing up on this show. Unbelievable. Anyway, I know we were talking about, now you said Casino was the first role that you did in the movie.
That was my first big role.
That was your first big role. And that was, I mean, it's nice to work with a guy like Scorsese in your first big role, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And I know when you gave me a demo reel, and there's a little bit of a piece, about 4 minutes, that we're going to play at the very end of the show when we get past this, that goes into, he's discussing a little bit about your part and how it was developed and how it all worked out in that. So I think everybody's going to find that a little bit interesting. I don't know how much more we got before that goes. But, I mean, was there anything that you find now that it's... What projects are you working on today anyway? I mean, you have anything outside the TV show that you're working on?
That I'm working on right now?
Anything that you finished in the last couple of months?
I'm working on another film down in Miami called All for Nothing. It's based on a true story. We're supposed to be shooting it, we were supposed to have been shooting it this month, but because of the World Trade incident, things have been pushed up a bit. So I don't think we're going to start shooting until either December or January.
Right.
And I want to mention another fact about Martin Scorsese. You know, one of his very first movies, a lot of people think it was Mean Street.
Right.
Well, he done a short, and that was called Who's That Knocking at My Door? And in that film, his mother was in that film.
Right.
And she had 3 kids. And those 3 kids were 3 little girls.
Right.
That was his first film and her first film. And one of those 3 kids was my wife.
Oh.
So in his very first film...
One of the last roles she did was the Casino. So I
Well,
finally
we're
got
going to get that
commenting on the
Casino
language
piece right now.
by that point, which was a written part for Vince Vella. But the improvisation was, I said, Mom, every time he says that F word, you tell him, watch his language.
$100, whoever hits the plan.
And as if things weren't bad enough, in comes Piscano, the Kansas City underboss. You ran that little grocery store in Kansas City where they bought the suitcases?
Fighting over those suitcases again. You know what that means, right? You know what that means, right? That means I got to take another trip out to Vegas, and it's going to cost me another couple of grand.
He ran it with his brother-in-law, but mostly what he did was complain about his trips to Vegas to his brother-in-law and to his mother all the time.
Lay down the law, otherwise they're going to make a fool out of you.
They make a fool out of me. I write it all down in this book. Every fucking nickel goes down right here.
Hey,
Receipts here. I'm sorry.
wow. What's
Receipts
the
here,
matter with
bills
you?
here, everything's here.
Since when do you talk like that?
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of
Nance gives
people
me
here.
trouble, and I'll tell him, screw around with those suitcases, and I'll take the eyes out of his freaking head.
Again.
I didn't curse, I said freaking head.
That's enough.
I'm sorry.
And what happens next? You can't believe it. I mean, who the hell would believe that the FBI had a wire in the place looking for some information about some old homicide, about some guy who was whacked out God knows when over God knows what?
To prevent them with the suitcases that he can take what he wants. Fucking Nancy brings us back 2 suitcases from the Tangiers, and what about 3 or 4? We got nobody in the room to watch. That's the law. You know we can't even go into the accountant to watch our money? Could you believe this cowboy bullshit? And sure, he's got his people in there. But how do you know? They could all be in on it together, those miserable fucks. I'll find out. And if it's Green himself,
I'll bury that bastard. I've never trusted him. And you know, I got eyes behind my head. They trust that scumbag. I don't. Right now, the way I feel, I'll hit the two of them in the head with a fucking shovel. Mom, I'm sorry. They're beating me up tonight. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm all upset.
I know, but that's enough.
You know what they're doing to me. I can't take this no more. Back and forth, back and forth.
Take it easy.
All right. But
You get a heart attack like
I'm
that.
too upset right now.
It was so much fun because we kept their stuff for the last week of shooting, and we had fun with him and my mother. We kept it for the last day. And my mother, you know, she'd get a little, sometimes 2 cameras going. She didn't know when we were shooting or not. But he was very good. You'll see, he keeps incorporating her into the improvisation.
Oh, so it's with your mother, it's
My mother was
usually
improv, but he had speeches. So she would interrupt the speeches, and he had to then pick up where he was in his energy.
Yeah,
it was very hard.
a little difficult for me because Marty would say to me, while you're doing your dialogue, she's going to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And while she interrupts you, turn around and politely say something to her, but then remember where you left off and pick up. And I said, oh, God. I'm gonna have a jam. I'm in a jam. Good luck, but I did it.
Came up great.
We did about 40 takes, but we got it.
40 takes.
It was very, it was hard. It was hard because cutting off the energy of it, you had to be careful. And then we covered ourselves fairly well in Thelma, and I cut it. We did like 20 cuts of that scene. We finally got it down.
And then has to be put to this.
And the damn thing is, they go and hear all this stuff about Las Vegas and the casinos and suitcases, and that's
I have to
it.
start handling things the way I did years ago, start kicking in. I'll do it.
Okay, we can bring that box up a little bit here.
Everything's coming out of my pocket. I gotta pay for all these trips back and forth, back and forth.
What can I tell you?
Would you believe that such a thing could happen?
Go ahead, open it up. Get us in the shot. Tell them to get that shot back.
Every FBI man across the country had their
Fix
ears
the camera. I
open.
thought we had that shot set up. Come on, let's go.
Then do it the way you want.
Wider.
I mean,
Come on, zoom it out.
Pascano, this guy
Come on, be a
basically
man.
sunk the
Push it
whole
around a
world.
little bit. Frame that up a little bit.
I couldn't
Thank
believe
you.
this shit.
I want to thank my
Pascano's
special
expense
guest this
report
week,
took
Mr.
the
Vincent
cake.
Vella, for coming all the way from Manhattan to come visit us.
We're giving him a fucking
Having a lot of screwball time
Everybody's
here.
names,
So we have a lot of fun. I
addresses,
hope you
dates,
can come down. We'd love to have you come down again. Maybe we can make a little bit more sense out of this whole thing. Maybe we get you to bring down 1 or 2 of your friends and really have some fun. Thank him again. I want to thank you again. My pleasure. Vin, should I thank him again? I want to thank you again, Vin, for coming down. All right? I want to thank those guys for finally falling into the
He
show
got so
and
upset
showing
he had a
up.
heart attack and dropped dead right there in front of his wife.
Shot, Judge.
Did they hear me right now on it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, the voiceover is going over. We should be almost out now, huh? We're out? Yeah, because we started the credits too late. 27 minutes.